Going on, America? What's going on, YouTube? What's going on, Facebook? What's going on, all of the other joints across the country and across the globe? I hope you are doing well. Hope you're checking me out from wherever. Welcome to the show. Today is Monday. It's time to get it popping, man. We got a lot to talk about. Hope you had a great weekend. Hope you didn't party too much. Somebody said, yeah, the show was unwatchable at the end. Oh, man, you're talking about my show? I mean, what? I thought my show was great. No, I'm not sure what you're referring to. But anyway, nonetheless, we'll hopefully make this more palatable. So, with that being said, let's get ready to get into it because we got a serious topic to talk about tonight. Now, y'all know I like jokes. You know, I like farts and giggles and stuff like that. But then sometimes stuff happen in the world where you got to pay some real close attention to it, and lay down some heavy stuff on the people's minds so they'll understand what's going on. Some people just walk around like until crap hits the fan. You don't want the crap to just suddenly just smack you in the face. You want to see the crap coming. That's why. That's why I got to warn you. So somebody said, yeah, big UK. That's what I'm talking about. Now, this number on the screen, 330-974-4607. If you text MAGA to that number, you will be in Kevin's corner to where I can reach out to you just in case the people on YouTube don't like what I'm talking about, and so on and so forth. This way I can keep you abreast if there's any changes that need to happen and all of that crap. Somebody said glitches and freezes. YouTube messing you up. You're right about that. They ain't just messing me up with those. They're messing me up with a whole heap of stuff. And that's why I also need your help. I checked on our little fundraiser, guys. It resets in 3 days. So we got 3 days left if you want to help me out to offset all of the censorship and the crap that goes on with YouTube. The fundraiser ends in 3 days. So I just initially requested $5 donation from any of my subscribers, but there's been people that's been so kind enough to even go beyond $5. So yeah, if you want to participate in that to help a brother out, please do so. And I look at it like this, man. If I suck at what I do, hey, I don't deserve a tip. I don't deserve nothing like that. But if I am good at what I do and it benefits you, then hey, why not? So you're welcome to do that. The link to that fundraiser is below this video, and you're welcome to do that. Now, don't forget, these are all converted into podcasts. And please share these. Like them a lot while we're watching, because then that generates the algorithms and make YouTube, hopefully, forces YouTube to kick it out to other people. Now, I am a little perturbed. Very perturbed. Somebody said, I'm ready for the book. Okay, what's the picture on your necklace? Oh, this picture right here is a picture of my father when he was younger and then when he was older. That's old man Teddy right there, y'all. Yeah, that's when he was a whippersnapper right here. See that right there? He's a whippersnapper. Then he was a wise old man right here, right there. That's Teddy. Yeah, so, but anyway, now back to what I was saying, which I forgot what I was saying. Well, anyway, the algorithms and all that good stuff. Make sure you still subscribe to my channel just in case they unsubscribed you and all that good stuff. Now, with no further ado, we got to talk about the state of the whole world. See, our shenanigans, our incompetence, and our weakness now has filtered out into the whole world. The whole world. Now, remember, y'all, when Creepy was installed, everybody was yapping about, you know what, we're going to restore some civility to the planet, and now we're going to be respected by our allies, and we're going to be respected on the globe and the world stage. And it looked like things got worse. And remember, under Trump, it was going to be chaos. It was going to be World War III. It was going to be welcome to the jungle. And none of that happened. Now, I'm wondering if there are enough humans in America that is able to see how things were more stable under Donald Trump than under Creepy Sleepy. See, this is that moment of reflection. And I'm wondering how many people can actually see it and recognize it. Like, man, maybe I might have made a mistake, hitch my wagon to the wrong horse, man. So we're going to talk about what's going on in Israel. And there's some other evil actors that are playing a part in this. And also there's a way to look at this two ways. See, Not everybody who watches my channel is a Christian, but if you're a Christian, you know everything revolves around what's going on in the Middle East, what's going on with Israel. You know that. And that kind of sets the tone and lets you know kind of a time scale, a clock that's ticking in regards to God's plan for humanity. Now, if you're not a Christian and you just worry about chaos in the world and you just worry about civility and peace, then this still is going to apply to you too. But with no further ado, let's get into what took place over in Israel recently and what's going on now. But first, this one I need to stretch, y'all. Kev getting old, y'all. Having pains and aches. Oh, my shoulder. Real gorilla. Real gorilla. Real gorilla. There's some kings in the building. Gorillas in here. Gorilla in here. Gorillas in here. Gorillas in here. Yeah, man. So apparently Hezbollah then attacked Israel. But let's be honest, it's really Iran who's behind all of this stuff. Yeah, see, small little countries don't pick fights with big countries or powerful countries unless they have the backing of some other countries. See, it's kind of like, what's going on over there in, what is it, Ukraine? Do you think Ukraine would have just woke up and said, you know what, I'm going to war with Russia, if they didn't think that they had the backing of the United States? So it's a lot of proxy war crap going on around the globe, which burns me up because I'm thinking, the world would be a better place if everybody just mind their business. Unless some country or some area is so strategic to our survival, we should not be meddling. And some of these conflicts go back way before America even existed. Do you think you're going to solve that? When you start looking back through some of these issues that went on in the Middle East, I mean, this stuff dates back to Abraham and Isaac, man. Ishmael and Isaac. Those two brothers been scrapping ever since. So we got ourselves a little dilemma going on the globe stage, which my opinion is it probably would not have happened if the right leadership was in place. So as you see the title of my show, wrong president for the United States and for Israel, but the right president for China and Iran. You right about that, man. You right, Kev. I agree. I got a high five myself. China and Iran is going, we got the right one, baby. You know it. You already know it, man. So let's get into what's going on, and then let's see if we can flush some of this out. Oh, but look at that. This is after the attack on the Israelis. Okay. Uh-oh, little squabble. That's in the U.S., I think. Now, you got to understand, this attack, from what I'm gathering, was out of the clear blue. It's not one of them we got to speculate because, the people who did it then confessed and said, yeah, we're responsible for it. But what burns me up about these squabbles between these governments, and I'm not just talking about, well, mostly, this is one of the characteristics of countries that specialize in terrorism. What burns me up about it is they hide behind the people, and they will attack regular citizens and take out their anger and all of that stuff on regular citizens. They're not fighting practical wars like we used to. All right, give everybody a warning, get your people evacuated. We're going to be attacking our military bases. These folks will just come in and attack an area of just peaceful people doing whatever they're doing. They will blow up a whole bunch of folks. And that's really a dirty tactic. That's the tactic that makes you so mad when you see it. If you're a country that is a victim of that, your retaliation has to be wise and well thought out, because your initial reaction is they killed what? Women, kids, they raped, they did all of this. Right now, I'm forgetting about there's humans in their area Right now, it's hard for me to have a little compassion and try to, sift through everything and say, all right, let's make sure we don't hit civilians and try to just target them because they're fighting a war that forces you to be the bad guy. They're fighting a war that they will do stuff to you and then blend in with their civilians. So then when you just get mad and say, y'all killed about 30, 40, 50 of our regular citizens, these weren't soldiers and nothing, now we're going to light y'all tails up. And because y'all are cowards and want to hide amongst the people, when the people start becoming victims of our retaliation, then y'all come out and show pictures of those people. And everybody goes, oh, this is, here's big bad Israel again, always doing stuff, going too far, or here's whatever. And a lot of radical Arab countries know this. They know this is a weakness of the West. This is a weakness of certain countries that refuse to retaliate in the same fashion as they retaliate or they attack. They know that we got people in our country that are sensitive. Somebody said, what is the Cash App? The Cash App link is also below the About section. It's in the About section. If you scroll down, you'll find that. But these Arab, and I won't just say, well, mostly Arab countries, they've figured something out about the West. They know that, hey, man, they got a weak spot. Their people can't tolerate the viciousness of war, the horrificness of war. They can't tolerate that. They are always going to be going, you know what, this isn't right. They won't even care that they might be hated by the people who are doing whatever they're doing. All they do is get emotionally caught up in whatever pictures that the enemy might put out, whatever propaganda is thrown out, and they forget that, man, if I was caught over there in that country, I would have been a victim of that. They forget that some of these countries openly say death to America, death to Israel, wipe them off the map. They forget all of that. And it's sad to have to cover stuff like this because in reality, I wish that the regular, everyday citizens of Israel and of Iran and all of these other Arab countries that be beefing, I really wish those people could be removed from all of this. I wish they can just say, hey, how about we line our squads up in a big desert somewhere and fight it out, and whatever military loses, the other team wins. But they know that that won't work when it comes down to fighting against countries like Israel, the United States, and so on and so forth. So they do these little things that forces you to say, you're going to put us in a position to make us look like the bad guy. And our American citizens have been softened up so much that they can't tolerate this type of war or retaliation. So now these people are celebrating. They're having a good time.
Almost as vulgar as the scenes we witnessed over the weekend was the barbaric rush to defend them by prominent voices on the far left.
Now, isn't that ironic? Because, see, we've developed a whole bunch of people who have learned to hate America, learned to hate Israel, and they view us as the bad guy, even though many of these people live in America. Now, that just blows my mind. They view us as the bad guy. Now, in some incidents, I view us as the bad guy, but not the whole country. I view some of our leaders as the bad guy, but not the whole country as the bad guy. Just like I don't view all of Palestine as the bad guys. I don't view all of Iran as the bad guys. I don't view many countries, like even in Russia, I don't view all of them as the bad. Most of the people in China just want to make a living. You know, most of the people in North Korea would rather have their freedom, but instead they're threatened under all this pressure and stuff. Most citizens don't even have a lot to do with all of this crap we see. It's the people who seize power, take power, or are voted into power, and the people don't realize they just voted in a snake. And once they get in, they use that power to invoke other countries, to invade other countries, to launch wars because of their own agenda. So I guarantee you most citizens want to just mind their business. But if you brainwash enough of them on both sides, you'll get a lot of people from Palestine and all these other countries would be celebrating that attack on the citizens in Israel. And then on the flip side, you'll get enough brainwashed Westerns that will celebrate that attack on those citizens as well. They will be like it serves the West right because they're you know what, they're fascists and they're communists, and they don't realize they're protecting a regime and defending a regime that really represents everything they're claiming that the U.S. and Israel represents. So you got people on the West, in the West, that is defending this. They support this crap. And listen to some of these people's reaction.
The warped context that it was all part of some righteous liberating crusade. Listen to them very carefully and take them deadly seriously, because this is what they want to do to you and your family. Don't forget, they openly acknowledge and embrace the notion that mass migration to Western countries is a justified act of revenge against colonizers. And they view—
Yeah, you hear all these people? Yeah. It's almost like we got enough dumb people who want to see their own country destroyed. They think that if they side with radical Islamic terrorists, that they will somehow win some favor with these people. Let's bring a whole bunch of them over here and make them love us. Show them. The same thing when it comes down to the liberal left and inner city violence and stuff like that. If we show them that we relate to all of their oppression and the systemic racism, I'm sure that, and what ends up happening? These same people rob those people. You know, they victimize those people. They don't care if you was out there protesting to defund the police for them. They don't care if you was out there talking about, you know, well, all these people are only robbing and stealing because of all of the systemic race. They don't care about that mess. See, and this is what the loony left have to recognize when they get up there and they think they can appease people who have an agenda that goes beyond just your basic everyday survival. When it is religiously motivated, it's in the bone. That's the worst kind of opponent to have. See, when you're fighting somebody who everything is motivated by religion, that right there surpasses, oftentimes, self-survival. The reason North Korea has some type of temperance is because it's not religiously motivated. It's survival. Kim Jong-un just don't want to be assassinated or removed from power. So therefore, he is like, look, I need something to support myself when it comes down to mutual destruction. Same thing with China. They're not religiously motivated. Russia. But when you start teetering over into Iran, Palestine, all that stuff, it is greater than just, I just want to survive, mind my own business, I want freedom, I want whatever. When it comes down to that, they're viewing their enemies as infidels. So let one of these white liberals or any American who supports this crap get caught over there. Do you think they're not going to behead you? Do you think they're not going to kill you and parade your body out somewhere? Because it's greater than just, we just want to survive. This is religiously motivated. They will never look at you like this person is one of us just because they support our cause. They will use your kindness. They will use your soft-heartedness and your naivety and let your guard down and argue against your own government or any other government that has the will enough to know that you don't invite the enemy into your crib, because they don't do that stuff. See, they don't say, well, you know what? We'll be better off if we invite millions of them into our country. Therefore, we'll show them that China's not bad. You think Kim Jong-un and Xi would do that? You think if they dropped, even if we displaced millions of Americans, China wouldn't be like, open up the doors and let them come in? Because they would feel like they got to keep an eyeball on every single American walking around their country. They don't want that hassle. They don't want that extra problem to deal with. But yet they're never getting called, xenophobic or none of that stuff. They're just being smart and recognizing our enemy will take advantage of our weakness and blend right on in. And they will also take advantage of our naive citizens if we don't keep their propaganda out of their heads. Now, I hate to say it, but man, there's sometimes I say, wow, you know what? Some of these countries, they hip to the West propaganda, and I can see why they'd be like, don't let these folks see this stuff over here. Don't let them be hearing about the kids transgender on the bus. Cause why? We don't want our people over here going, that sounds fun. That sounds like it makes sense, but that's the game that's being played around the globe. So now you got all of these people that is cheering for this, saying, yeah, you know what, that they should be doing things like that to Israel. The West is an imperialistic country, and so is Israel. They deserve it.
View the mangled and desecrated bodies of innocent civilians as colonizers. When you watch those lurid video clips of terrorists gloating over dead corpses in the back of trucks, that level of debauched dehumanization is how they see your fate.
And dumb liberals don't realize that. See, they will be the dumb liberal on the back of a truck as they celebrate and chant over your corpse. See, that right there shows this ain't just about war. This is a different level, man. This right here makes them joyful and happy because they feel like we've disgraced and destroyed some of these infidels. They're gloating over it. They're not looking at you as life, even in war. The traditional war, Vietnam and all this stuff, there wasn't no let's drag the bodies around and celebrate it because it wasn't religiously motivated. You kill a whole bunch of people, a whole bunch of Japanese was killed, a whole bunch of, Vietnamese was killed, a whole bunch of Americans was killed, a bunch of Germans was killed. You go ahead, bring in a bulldozer, and you shovel them in the ground, and you keep moving on to the next battle. You don't sit back and have a party and take their clothes off and drag them through the streets and stuff unless you have lost it. Unless you've lost it. But most of the time, it wasn't personal. It was, you know what? We killed a whole bunch of them. Now we got to kill some more of them. We don't have time to celebrate this. But these people over there were celebrating this and rejoicing and dragging the bodies out and putting them on back of trucks and rubbing it in the nose of Israel. And see, that's the problem. When you see something like that, now your level of reaction goes skyrocketing. It's kind of like what took place during Black Hawk Down when they took those two the not Navy SEALs, but what were they? Special. I forget what special force they belong to, and they drug their bodies naked through the city. And that right there, the visual of that infuriated Americans. See, and they got the nerve to keep one of the air pilots as a hostage, talking about, yeah, we want this and that. At that point, negotiations was off. It was, no, here's what we're going to do. You're going to return that guy right there, or else we're going to come in and we're going to level your whole city. How about that? All right. Being nice and being kind. Black Hawk Down. They were, you got Navy SEALs, and then you got, they just as bad, man. Oh, they don't even claim them. Man, this makes me mad. Somebody will get it. It's Navy SEALs, and they right up there with the Navy SEALs. I know it was special ops, but they're another branch that they don't even mention. It's kind of like they're in the shadows. It's like they don't exist, but they do. They do exist. But anyway, until y'all figure that one out. Now, it wasn't the Green Beret. It'll come to me. It's going to come to me. Darn it. But let me get back on track. And while y'all figure that out, let me continue. Now, so when you see visuals like that, that's enough to make you say, I'm going to retaliate. And at this point, yeah, I know y'all got Somalians running around this Delta Force. I knew y'all wouldn't let me down. Delta Force. When them two Delta Force soldiers jumped out there and they ended up killing them, they didn't just kill them. It was now let's disgrace them, drag them out in front of everybody, exploit it, laugh, rejoice, all of that stuff, desecrate their corpse. That's enough to make people go, now I'm not really paying attention to the side victims that might be in the way. And right now, I just want revenge. And that's what I'm worried about right now, because see, what they did, Israel is furious. They are ready to go to war over this, and they should be. They should be, especially when you see people out there celebrating this type of stuff. So now let's go ahead and listen to some of the dummies who don't realize how serious of a situation that is brewing over there in the Middle East.
Today should be a day of celebration for supporters of democracy and human rights worldwide. As Gazans break out of their open-air prison and Hamas fighters cross into their colonizers' territory.
Colonizers. So that's Rivka Brown. Rivka Brown. She's saying this is day of celebration and this and that because of the colonizers and stuff. Mm-hmm.
The struggle for freedom is rarely bloodless, and we shouldn't apologize for it. The struggle for freedom, democracy and human rights, machine gunning a music festival, ISIS Bataclan style, raping young women and piling up their dismembered remains. In the name of democracy, what did you think decolonization meant? Vibes, papers, essays, looters, left.
You see that? That's the mentality of the radical left. of Marxists. Now, this mentality is spreading across the United States. This is why this is so dangerous. The Democrats have played a dangerous game by tolerating fascist ideology. They have tolerated folks in their own party talking about, I'm a Democrat socialist. And that mentality is a by any means necessary mentality. That mentality can start to warp into looking at their opponent less than human. And that is why you get a lot of Antifians and radical Black Lives Matterers and stuff that will run around and they will do horrible things to citizens and they'll justify it in their mind because these people are fascists. They don't even realize they're the fascists. They will sit back and watch American citizens be targeted by our FBI, targeted by our DOJ, abused, have their rights just ripped to pieces, and they will celebrate that mess because in their heads, you deserve it. You're the fascist. You're the white nationalist. We wear the white hats. We are on the more high ground, and you're kind of beneath us. So anything that happens to you is okay. All right, it's for the greater good because we're fighting this whatever war that's all in our head to defeat fascism, which lies within us. We don't even realize we're the ones spreading all of the fascism, the racism, and all of the. They don't even realize it. So now, when you see Trump supporters getting abused, when you see attacks like this on Israel and people are destroyed and killed and stuff, you'll get these people with this mentality that will justify that. They'll celebrate it. They'll say it's a means to an end. Yeah, it serves you right. They have started to dehumanize certain groups of people. And that's a scary place to get to in modern society. You would think that a lot of these attitudes and a lot of these remarks might be tolerated way, way, way back. This is 2023 and you got people out there saying stupid stuff like this.
Swing student groups at British universities up and down the country praising the killing of at least 600 innocents as a heroic fight by the martyrs against fascist and criminal settlers. Fascist and criminal settlers like Yoni Ash's 3 and 5-year-old girls.
Look at that. See? They don't even think about that. Don't even think about that. You know, and they target so many young, impressionable, naive brains. That is why modern day education sucks. I hate to say it, man. I'm glad they didn't get hold of me in college with all of this stupid stuff right here. I might have beat it just right ahead of it. But these folks over there in these universities, these folks that's been brainwashed, they catch them when they're young and naive, and they forget. They don't even care about putting a face to some of these victims, you know. And if they're talking about that, it serves them right. All of these colonizers and this and this and that. But yet, over here in the United States, we got dummies too. But yet, if you hear some Trump supporters get out there and say anything about we need a closed border or we don't want our kids being taught whatever, we pop up on list. They call us extremists. They call us dangerous to democracy and all of that stuff. We're not out there celebrating stuff like this. We're not out there encouraging wars. We're not out there doing the same stuff that radical leftists agree with. But nonetheless, they're over there in I guess Britain or some college university, they're celebrating this stuff. They think it's
like
great.
this kidnapped young boy. So I guess we've learned that everyone who uses the term decolonize is just advocating for mass murder and war crimes.
When I was your president.
Yeah, there you go. Decolonizer. So anything goes. Forget the kids. Forget all the victims. Forget the woman that was thrown on the back of the truck half naked and drove through the city while they all celebrated. Yeah, they serve them right. They're decolonizing it. This is great. This is a victory. And you're a complete 100% dummy if you believe that. But look at this guy right here. He is properly identifying a sub-problem, a deeper problem than just the fact that Iran and Palestine and Israel have been scrapping. He's identified another problem that led to this mess.
President, we had peace through strength.
We did.
And now we have weakness, conflict, and chaos.
And how?
The atrocities we're witnessing in Israel would never have happened if I was president. Would never have ever happened.
True.
When I was commander-in-chief, we reduced the Iranian economy, and I withdrew from the disastrous Iran nuclear deal, imposed the toughest ever sanctions on the regime, and imposed a strict travel ban to keep radical Islamic terrorists the hell out of our country.
Now, see, simple stuff like that. It's real hard to fight a war when you're broke. Real hard. See? And yet we got our own government over here focusing on, oppressing and suppressing their own citizens that don't vote for them. Things like that. And I always warn, a lot of conservatives when it comes down to this, this infrastructure that's being put in place to respond to a lot of Americans that might just got a problem with being forced to do things, might just have a problem with the government spying on them, messing with their money, might just have a problem with them saying, we're going to come door to door and start collecting guns. See, we're looking at that part of the strategy, the obvious part, but you can't forget how it's layered. See, they know that, a lot of Americans ain't going to stand for certain things. They all loaded up, tons of and all of that stuff. However, what would catch them slipping is their resources. As we strategically start controlling the food supply, making sure we can go ahead, track their money, shut their money down at any moment, make sure we can choke out their communications, make sure we can choke out, certain things that you're not even thinking about. Yeah, they know it'd be a problem if all of y'all are walking around with your bellies full, able to communicate with each other, talking about it's going down, meet me here, and all of that. But what happens when your first basic needs are removed and you sitting back like, man, I can't be thinking about getting with the militia right now. They done cut off my food. They done cut off my ability to travel, my ability to communicate, and they've been putting that in place for a while. Yeah, so then this way, at the end of the day, a person would say, I can't eat these bullets. It's all good and all, man. I can't eat this AR. I'm starving. See, so we got to be careful. We got to be very smart to see what our own government is putting in place for the time that they finally say, now we're going to show y'all that we're running the show. Now you shut your mouths. Oh, y'all want to retaliate? We're not going to fight with you. We're going to sweat you out and remove all your resources and see how tough you guys are then. How many of y'all can live off the fat of the land, huh? What about that? So the same thing. Trump knew that Iran, Palestine, all of them, they need money. You can't get out there scrapping and you don't have money. Why do you think they ain't going, Ukraine is still, quote unquote, fighting? They're using our money. That mess would have been over if the U.S. would not have been supplying money and weapons to these people. That's the only reason it's still going on, because the U.S. is dumb enough to keep going. There you go. There you go. Here's more. So now Trump knew that, and he cut off their supply. And then we get dummies like the Biden administration who comes in. And because the Democrats are greedy enough to focus on bringing in a whole new voter base, they don't mind if a couple terrorists slide in too.
They're pouring into our country. They're pouring into our country. Joe Biden undid it. He undid it all and gave billions and billions of dollars to the world's top sponsor of terror, tossing Israel to the bloodthirsty terrorists and jihadists.
What do you say?
Now, how stupid? How stupid? Now, when Trump said, every time this rings out in my head, every time, where Trump wasn't even the president, and he said, man, our leaders are dumb. I used to sit back before even Trump was elected, and I would watch certain things. I wasn't into politics as much then, but certain things would happen. I go, why would we do that? You know what really caught my attention is when Barack Obama came out and started negotiating with Iran, and that deal had an expiration date on it, and they was able to get all their money and all of that stuff. Why do we let our enemies get strength? Why do we sit? How about you choke them out? How about you sweat them out? When they're weak, you ain't got to stomp on them, but you ain't got to help them. We made China strong again. China has leverage because of our dumb leaders, because they figured out we had greedy leaders over here that would be willing to sell us out and empower them while taking businesses from us and putting them over there and not realizing you're fattening up your enemy. You're fattening up your pockets, and that's all you can see, but you're fattening up the enemy. Now the enemy is so fat that we can't just choke them out that easily. Now we sitting there going, man, to deal with them, and we could have dealt with them when they were small. We could have destroyed communism right after World War II. We could have destroyed it. But instead, what do? Let's go ahead and let them rebuild. And we should have put so many restrictions on how that government developed. And then when we saw they were no longer a developing country, we should have stopped giving them perks that a developing country has. So we created that problem. We created Iran. We created so many problems. It's ridiculous. It really is. But they're dumb. So now Trump it destroys the deal with Iran. And then you get these dummies come right back in and what? Giving them the benefit of the doubt. Thinking we're going to go ahead and show them how, appeasing we can be and fair and even-handed. And, we all want the world to come together for kumbaya. And they go, yes, very good, very good. Come together. Bring back together. Give us lots of money, please. No, don't worry. We won't use nuclear weapons. Don't worry. How much money are you going to give us now? So here's these idiots.
About the argument that money is fungible. So Iran may have known this money is coming and used other funds to help
Listen
fund
to our
this
dumb
attack.
administration.
Iran has unfortunately always used and focused its funds on supporting terrorism.
And I can't believe you're even admitting this. I can't believe you're confessing this on TV, because what you're really doing is confessing your stupidity. That's what you're doing. So if you knew that, why would you give them money? Why would you even go to the negotiating table with him? But yet this guy, Iran, has always done it, so that's why we gave him more money to keep doing it. Boy.
Supporting groups like Hamas, and it's done that when there have been sanctions. It's done that when there haven't been sanctions.
There you go. So why are you giving them money? Why are you giving? If you know this right here is going to be done one way or another, you can sanction them. They still ain't going to go ahead and pat us on our back and say, you're doing good. We're ready to behave now. You can remove the sanctions. They're not going to say, thank you for removing the sanctions. Now we're not going to attack Israel. And we don't want to see death to America anymore. We don't want to see Israel wiped off the planet anymore. We're better now. Thanks very much. No, they take advantage of stupid leaders like this. I don't even know what the motivation is for these dummies right here. I can see Biden. He's just completely just going for the ride. But these folks right here must want to see the whole globe weakened. They must want to see America completely destroyed. You have formed alliances with all of our enemies by acting a fool and spreading your global ideas across the country. And then giving money to our enemies, expecting what? This man is about to counter his own logic right here. So why are you giving him money when you already know these things exist? What are you expecting?
And it's always prioritized that. And again, I come back to the proposition that from these funds have always been, under the law, available to Iran to use for humanitarian purposes.
They sort of counter.
Why are they available to Iran for humanitarian purpose and all that? So you think they're going to use it for humanitarian purposes? See, this is the stupidity. And yet people vote for these folks. No. Don't vote for these idiots if you want real peace in the world. So now, we always knew they were supporting terrorism, but they have rights to all of these billions of dollars for humanitarian issues, and we trust them, just like you trust all of these illegal immigrants that you let in and you can't vet. See, this is the dumbness of this current administration. Everybody benefits but us. The illegal immigrants benefits based on these stupid leaders that's in power right now. Iran, they all having a great time. Folks from other countries flying into South America to come into our country. All right, where are you from? I'm from France. France, what are you doing here? Come here for a better life. Okay, Mr. Frenchman, you're not going to do anything crazy. No, not me. Just let me into the country. I love America. Sure, go on in. All right, now what about you? My name is Abdul. I'm from Pakistan. I come because refugee. I want to come be American. Okay, now, Abdul. You're good, right? Absolutely. Go on in, man. No funny stuff. No problem. I love America. This is how dumb we are right now. We've become the laughing stock on the whole globe. So why not take advantage of this? Why not use this opportunity to launch a war? This is as good as it gets. You're not going to get a weaker administration than this. Take the shot. If I was them and I had that motivation, I would take the shot. Listen to this idiot talking about the money.
Argument is when you're talking about $6 billion is that even though there are sort of rules as to how that money can be used, you spend money on maybe food aid for your people, then that gives
yeah. What kind of rules are there? That's my question. Remember those rules about Iran and their nuclear project? Barack Obama, listen, we don't want you making nuclear bombs. No, we cannot. We can't do that. No. All right, then. Listen, let's try this. How about you just say you won't make them, even though we know you're going to make them? No, we won't even say that. No, absolutely not. How about you just say we had a good meeting and good things happen? Yes, okay, very good, very good. We say we had good meeting and things happened. We couldn't even go over there and inspect. For you to come look at the nuclear plant, we need 30 days to clean up all of the evidence. How dumb is that? Israel was furious. How in the world did Barack Obama negotiate a deal with their number one enemy about nuclear weapons from way over here? We're way over here. See, we didn't have to worry about the quick strike from nuclear weapons. That would be like them negotiating a nuclear deal with Canada, and if we was at war with Canada. And here they are over here talking about, all right, we think Canada, should go ahead and put your nuclear program on hold for about 11 or 12 years. After that, you can reboot it. And well, what about inspections? Oh, well, we want to be able to come inspect them. How many? 30 days? 30? Okay, 30 days. We got to give them a 30-day one. Do you know? We would be furious. We would go, hey, Israel, mind your business. You're way over there. You don't have to deal with this crap. Okay? So that's what we did. We were up there negotiating stupid deals. Now here this stupid person is out here telling us, oh, well, you know what? The billions of dollars, the restrictions. What ones? What restrictions? Who's going to monitor that? Who's going to be accountable? U.S. leaders are dumb. They give away stuff with no accountability. Just like there's supposed to be some accountability over in Ukraine. We still don't know where all the missiles, the rockets, the bombs, the money is gone. None of that. Just here, take the money. We trust you're doing good. So now he's talking about restrictions with the billions that we release because we could trust them, can't we?
Gives you extra money to spend elsewhere.
So here's a couple of things I want to make sure everybody understands.
Yeah.
You're right.
Tell us some
this
stupid stuff.
Money can only be used for humanitarian purposes. We are still focused on putting pressure on them, holding Iran accountable for all their activities, whether it's supporting Russia's war in Ukraine, supporting terrorist networks, attacking maritime ships in the Gulf and in the Strait of Hormuz. We're going to continue to make sure we have the means, the tools, both military and economic, to hold them accountable. So if in fact...
You hear Jabberjaw? They call him Jabberjaw. The most futuristic shark you ever saw. That's all he's doing. Whole bunch of jib-jab. Jabberjaw. Even though the money is supposed to be, and that we're going to make sure that... How are you going to hold him accountable? What are you going to do? Huh? You're going to send Creepy out there to send out a threat? All right. Now listen here, Iraq. No, it's Iran. What? Where's Iran? You're going to send Kamala over there? So what are you talking about? That hold them accountable? They've seen our level of accountability when it comes down to retaliation. That big fat balloon showed that flew all over our country. That showed our ability to hold people accountable. The fact that China dropped a full-blown virus on us and we're doing nothing about it. That right there shows that we're holding people accountable.
They decide to increase their support for terrorist activities or increase their maritime attacks in the Gulf, we're going to be ready to counter that. We're going to be ready to hold them accountable. We're going to be ready to try to deter that activity.
Man, these people will sell Israel out so quick. If it's convenient for them, if they get too much political pressure, trust me, Israel will become the enemy. They've gone too far. They're horrible. So let's just see how the leader of Iran interprets this billions of dollars that they're supposed to only use for humanitarian issues that we just heard those two jabberjaws get up there and say. Let's see what he has to say about it.
What is your expectation of its use? We're told that it's for humanitarian purposes, food and medicine. Do you believe you have the right to use that money in any way that you see
absolutely.
This money belongs to the Islamic Republic of Iran, and naturally, we will decide, the Islamic Republic of Iran will decide to spend it wherever we need it.
Well, does Stinking Blinken know that? Huh? Did those two dummies we just heard, do they know that? Did they watch this interview? Because this man got a whole different interpretation on what that money can be used for.
So if I hear you clearly, that it will be used for more than humanitarian purposes in your view.
Humanitarian means whatever the Iranian people needs. So this money will be budgeted for those needs.
It's all about interpretation. Humanitarian means whatever the Iranian people need. So our interpretation could be bombs, support for terrorists. That's what the Iranian people need. It's humanitarian issues. And we're dumb enough to get up there on TV and try to lie to the American people about that. Trust us, they're doing the right thing with the money. I'm sure it's used for magical beans, to grow bean stalks, to build huts, just to make sure they got clean water and climate change and humanitarian rights for transgender studies and stuff like that. I'm sure that's what they're using it for. Yes, don't worry. Yes, very, very good. We're using it for all of that, along with weapons and bombs and things like that too. This is how dumb our country has become.
And the needs of the Iranian people will be decided and determined by the Iranian government.
Don't tell us what to do, basically. So now, y'all heard that? So this is where we're at right now. And you wonder why all of our enemies are just picking this particular time to get crazy, to get reckless, y'all. And then instead of having a Republican who is able to recognize the real enemy, starting with people in our country who allowed this to happen. Listen to this traitor right here come out and blame Trump.
I want to focus on what you had to say about some of your fellow Republicans. You said that this is what happens when leaders in the Republican Party signal Americans retreat as leader of the free world.
Now, the fact that he's sitting there on CNN lets you know he's a traitor. Lets you know that this bootleg, and see, man, I don't usually even get into questions about Christianity and all that stuff. But what makes me mad about Mike Pence is he wrote in on, hey, you guys as Christians have an ally in the White House with President Trump. I'm going to support Christian values. I'm going to do all of this stuff. However, this guy now constantly is out there lying on President Trump and what he has done. So now I guess the political side done trumped the Christian side. And now you're just going to go ahead and start lying all over the place on Trump. And yet you're still touting the fact that as a Christian, my Christian values are, how about you just stop saying that? See, here's my thing. I ain't got a problem with people that live raggedy lifestyles, but just don't put that up front. Don't put some part of your lifestyle up front and tout that as, hey, focus on this, the best part of me right here. And then all we see is you getting out there and saying stuff like this.
Weakness arouses evil. Are you talking about your former running mate?
Well, I am, but let me begin where we ought to start. I mean, that disastrous withdrawal from Afghanistan has emboldened the enemies of freedom around the world. And now war is raging in Eastern Europe. And President Joe Biden's kowtowing for the last 2.5 years to the $1 billion in a ransom for hostages, I think set the conditions for this unprecedented terrorist attack.
Now, you should have stopped right there. See, but because he wants the best of both worlds. He wants to be able to demonize the Biden administration, but then he got to demonize that evil Donald Trump, who he's running against, and was a part of his administration when we had all of that peace in the Middle East. And yet this fool gets out here and got the nerve to say, I'm talking about him. Why do you think they brought you on the show, Mike Pence? Huh? Because if you was really about it, she wouldn't be sitting there listening to you vomit that up. She wouldn't have asked you that loaded question. Are you talking about your former running mate? I am. If she was really doing what these propagandists normally do, she would be firing at this dude. She wouldn't be letting him get none of that off. So you're telling me, you're saying that, you know what? But what is she doing? Listening. Letting him go out there and defame Trump and try to blame it on American citizens. Why this happened? God doggone, I'm sorry. Made me mad. Let me get back to the bum. The freaking traitor. All right, right there. Here he is.
Republican Party and the debate within America is whether
Like Donald Trump, Vivek Ramaswamy.
Oh, God.
And lifting sanctions, begging them to get back in the Iran nuclear deal, and then paying $6 billion in a ransom for hostages, I think set the conditions for this unprecedented terrorist attack by Hamas against Israel. But I also believe this is what happens when we have leading voices like Donald Trump, Vivek Ramaswamy, and Ron DeSantis signaling retreat from America's role as leader of the free world.
Now you hear this war hawk? You hear this sellout right here? Somehow, just because we're not supporting the same stupidity that's going on over there in Ukraine, the same stupid stuff that we're doing. See, so right now, you got Iran financing that war that's going on over there. They're supporting it. Proxy war. And yet we're doing it. We got a little proxy war going on too. And yet he's blaming the folks over here that disagrees with the proxy war. The folks over here that saying we don't need to be mixed up in this. You know what? Maybe if we wouldn't have threatened to put Ukraine into NATO, which would possibly put bombs on the borders of Russia, maybe Putin wouldn't have invaded. Maybe if Putin would have known we had leaders that wasn't involved in globalism and trying to force Putin out of power so they can bring Russia into the one world government, maybe he would have minded his own business. But listen to this fool try to blame it on folks who disagree with the Ukraine war.
Look, that what happened in Ukraine was an unprovoked invasion by Russia. What happened this weekend?
Was it? All we had to do was say, hey, man, don't worry, Russia. We're not putting Ukraine in NATO. But no, we couldn't do that. And keep our options open. So I can't get a confession out of you guys that you're not going to do this? No? Okay, so you leave me no more choice. Now I got to do stuff. But yeah, that was unprovoked war. It could have been avoided.
Was an unprovoked invasion by Hamas into Israel. And I really believe now more than ever, both the debate within the Republican Party and the debate within America is whether or not we're going to once again stand without apology as the leader of the free world, as the arsenal of democracy. The heartbreaking images coming out of both of these theaters.
You shut your mouth, traitor.
Remind us that America is the indispensable leader of the free world. And if I'm president of the United States, we'll lead from American strength.
No, we'll be in just as much trouble. We'll be in a full-blown war. Because you like that stuff. I thought Christians try to avoid war. Sounds like Mike Pence is not wise enough to see what's developing over there in the Middle East. So if you're a Christian, you should have enough discernment to know that, oh, I got to keep my eyes on what is going on over there in the Middle East. Yeah, it's cool and all when China and Japan and North Korea. Wait, what's going on over there with Israel? Now you got my attention. Now that mess has biblical proportions. So now let's get a real take on why we're in this position and why Iran suddenly decided to say, let's do this.
Says none of this would have happened if he were president. Do you agree with
that?
Absolutely right. Why has this happened? You've outlined all the reasons.
Break that mess down, sis.
Failed in its foreign policy. But the first one you talked about, energy independence, is one of the keys.
That's one.
When we had energy independence, the price of oil was really low.
I remember
Iran,
those days.
Russia, our adversaries were broke. They couldn't afford a war. Biden reverses that. Iran has a lot of extra money.
There you go. I wish those days would come back once more. When Trump was having us independent when it comes down to energy, we were number one. Folks couldn't fight no war because they're like, man, we broke. America's on the rise. You know what we need? We need to get Trump out and put a puppet in so we could get back to our agenda. So that's one thing, lady. What else? Give me some more reasons why Trump, if he was in office, this would have never happened.
Stops the sanctions on Iran. Iran can sell the oil. All of a sudden, Iran is flush with cash that it can pay for terrorist activities and its own nuclear.
No, lady, no. You got it all wrong. They would never do that because they're only using it for humanitarian issues, according to Blinken and all of them. Yeah, we trust them.
Program. So none of that would have happened during the Trump administration. But the other thing is that Trump made really clear, I stand with Israel no matter what. And I do think that the countries in the region, as well as countries around the world, knew that Donald Trump was capable of letting our allies do whatever they needed to do to protect themselves.
That's right.
Trump would have Israel's back if Israel had to go into Gaza, if Israel had to go and deal with Hezbollah in the north, if Israel decided to go take out Iran's nuclear sites. Does anybody think...
So in other words, he would be supportive of Israel putting a foot up Iran's butt. He knew Iran has it out for Israel and us. They knew not to do it under Trump's watch. They didn't have the money. They didn't have the military might to do it. China wouldn't back them during that time. No. No, we was really respected through strength back then. See, and Trump sent the message when he blew up Solomon Grundy. He had real terrorists walking around looking up in the sky for anything that flashes. Had them concerned. You think they're concerned now? You think they're worried about Biden? Huh? He couldn't even shoot down a balloon for like 6 or 7 days. So now they got money, they're emboldened, and now they got another ally we're about to find out. It's like, I don't see what the problem is.
Think Joe Biden will allow any of these things to happen? No. He'll, at the end, mark my words, Stuart, within a month's time, probably within 2 weeks' time, Biden will be calling for ceasefire. Israel will be the bad guy in the Middle East. Israel will be responsible for all these things. And then Israel could well be alone with it.
True. Because, see, the Democrat Party is not even all the way sold out supportive of Israel anyway. You got the whole squad. You know, if you question them and press them a little bit, then you might have them slip out some ideas that good did it happen to Israel. They're fascists and they're globalists and they took over that land. They deserve it. You'll have somebody slide something like that out. They probably got them on lock right now. Don't ask them any questions. Don't stick a mic in Ilhan Omar's face, Talib's face, dang on Bubble One's face. None of that. They will go ahead and leak that mess out that we don't really support Israel anyway.
In a month.
You really think it could be that bad?
Yeah, I do. And here's why. I think that Iran is governed by this sense of time is running out. It's now or never. Because if Iran didn't make this move with Hezbollah, Hezbollah would come soon, but Hamas, then Iran was going to face the Middle East, which would have Israel, Saudi Arabia, and the Sunni Arabs all at peace and dealing with each other economically, militarily, diplomatically. Iran left out in the cold. So Iran says, it's now or never for me. I got to go. I got to push my proxies in the Middle East.
And that is so true. It's now or never. We got the money, we got the backing, and we got the dumb president in office in the U.S. Now or never. Because from what it looks like, the one president, the smart one, the one that was tough on us, that we couldn't take advantage of, that one looks like he might just get back in power. And if that happens, we're done. That's going to push our agenda back for God knows how long until we get another dumb leader into America. But they see the writing on the wall. They're like, whoa. Well, we was hoping that these crazy fascist Democrats would ensure that Trump wouldn't have another shot. We were hoping that. But it seemed like they can't figure out how to stop this dude. So we might as well go ahead and do it right now. Might as well go ahead and do it right now because Creepy ain't going to do nothing about it. And then look who comes in with their big mouth.
What I worry about is that as public opinion shifts and change, and it will, because the pictures you're going to start seeing are going to be what's happening in Gaza. Yep. And the Palestinians are really good at spinning it to look like the victims. If the United States abandons...
They learn from the best, man. They learn from the best, okay? Yeah, when it comes to propaganda, man, they learn from the best. They look at the American Democrats, okay? And they say, look, be the victim, okay? We start the trouble, but then we become the victim. So take a good look at the victim, okay? Because this is the last time you're going to see a victim like this. I'll tell you that much. They learn from the best. Yeah, start all the trouble, pick the fights, do all of that, but then cry, uncle, victim. Use propaganda, show pictures, because dumb Americans are emotional enough to say, oh, well, I was supportive of Israel, but it looks like they're being a little too mean. Look at those pictures and stuff. Yeah, maybe they deserve it. They know that. They know how Western emotions are, mentality, ignorance. Yeah, so that we're so blessed over here. We don't see how real the world is. Folks in Israel grow up knowing that at any moment they can become attacked or victims of this stuff. They've been hardened a little bit. They don't have the soft heart that we over here have. We don't have to worry about looking up over our shoulders and our neighbor blowing us up and stuff like that. So you got a lot of people who have the luxury of being tenderhearted and falling victim to that propaganda when you see it. Not realizing how real that mess is, man. I know I'm on it. I might not even be finished tonight. I'm already an hour. Dang on it. Let's try to go a little further.
Israel or doesn't give Israel what Israel needs to finish the job, will Israel conclude, I've got nothing left to lose, it's now or never? And will Israel conclude maybe it needs to make a strike on Iran's nuclear sites?
And that's the fear. Because if we get our dumb leaders over here that breaks to the pressure and propaganda that might get released and all of the sentimental, crying out of, look what they're doing Palestine, which I don't want that. See, I don't want nobody to think that I'm heartless. Okay. The problem is this is going to get ugly. And unfortunately, the methods that Palestine and Iran are using to fight and attack Israel is going to force it to get ugly. There's going to, unfortunately, be victims of their stupidity, their evilness, and whatever. They know that. They will hide behind their citizens. They look at them as sacrifices to Allah. You're going to, paradise. You're doing it for your country and for Allah. So now when Israel sits back and responds, and then they start seeing, perhaps, this is the fear I have. They start seeing, whoa, all right, everybody's kind of starting to look at us as the bad guy right now. And we can't trust the U.S. right now to have our back. And they have also been responsible for allowing Iran to build up their military, allowing them to re-jumpstart their nuclear plans and all of that stuff. We can't let them get that. If they willing to jump the gun now and attack our country and use Palestine to do it, imagine what they would do if they get nuclear weapons and then America's a little wishy-washy. Take the shot. Take the shot. Now, you want to see all of the Middle East turn against Israel? And now we're looking at a big fat mess. Let Israel blow up Iran's nuclear, whatever, and really launch on Iran like y'all brought this on yourself. Right now, we got to go in it alone. America got the raggedy leader, all of that. So we got to go ahead and turn up the heat. That will bring in a lot of other actors. And boy, if that happens, I think you understand, especially if you're a Christian, you understand that right there leads to bad news, man. So now let's close out with this because I ain't going to be able to finish it. I got some hot nuggets, man. Hot nuggets I want to drop. But I've been promising that I'm going to go ahead and try to keep my show to an hour weekly. So that means we can come back tomorrow at 7 to finish dropping all these hot nuggets. But I am going to finish with this lady segment right here.
And then we have a bigger conflagration in the entire
Yes,
region.
we would.
Yeah, that's how I see things moving here. Senate Majority Leader Schumer, he's in Beijing. He met with China Xi Jinping earlier this morning.
Ooh, now we enter in another bad actor. I told y'all we was going to hear from some other bad actors coming in. We talking about Xi Jinping, y'all. China. And they done sent over Chuck Schumer. That's right. Surely what could go wrong? Surely when Chuck Schumer shows up with those glasses down at the end of his nose and that raggedy voice like that, surely when he steps onto China soil, Xi Jinping is going to say, oh no. We are truly in trouble now. They have sent Chuck Schumer. So let's see what happens when Chuck Schumer shows up.
Schumer said he was disappointed by China's response to the attacks on Israel. Yeah. What do you make of this?
Oh, come on. And give me a break. Did he think that Xi Jinping was going to do anything else? Did he think that Xi Jinping was going to support Israel? Look, the new axis of evil, the new world order you alluded to, that includes Iran, China, Russia, North Korea. China's not going to...
Wow. Now, this seems like biblical prophecy. Now, look how this all just formed in the last year or so, thanks to the Democrat leadership. So now, as we start setting the stage for the final conflict, Iran, China, Russia, Syria, all of them are mentioned in the Bible. An alliance formed. Now, understand, guys. Israel has been whooping tail for centuries. They've been blessed and they've been surrounded by all of those enemies. And Iran wants a shot at the title so bad they can taste it. But they still know that little teeny country the size of Iowa has been whooping tail. They still can't handle it because there is a prophecy where God said when Israel's enemies go to grab them and pick them up, they're going to be like grabbing a sharp stone in their hand that will cut their hand to pieces. That means that little country is blessed. Now, this is for the Christian mind, okay? Not everybody might believe this, but from a prophetic standpoint, that little country is protected. Iran knows that. They don't know why it's protected. They think they're the ones supposed to be able to, so they need help. They need allies. See, and now all of a sudden, look at the allies that they're getting. Because when you start looking at some biblical prophecies, China is going to try to invade Israel. Now, why would they do that? What benefit would y'all? They're not religiously motivated, but they are economically motivated, though. See, Russia, all of these countries. So you got non-religious countries that will want a shot at Israel as well. The only reason they would even do that is because they form relationships with other countries in the Middle East that hates Israel, but they hate them for religious reasons. But they will use their economic position, their alliance, whatever, to drag all these other countries in too. So Israel would be looking at a whole bunch of other countries, targeting them because the countries that want them destroyed can't whoop their tail on their own. And now you bring in China, who ain't got nothing to do with this, but hey, the way we look at it here in China, anything that could stick it to the U.S. even more, why not get on board?
Abandon Iran and Iran's proxy allies in this, and it's certainly not going to rush to support, even verbally support, an American ally in the
Not at all.
Biden has solidified the new world order against us.
Y'all hear that? Yeah. Biden has solidified the new world order against us. Thanks, Democrats. Thanks, Christians that voted for Democrats. See, this is what burns me up. Y'all didn't see that when they're coming? You didn't see that when they're coming? Trump's policies supported Israel. He restored the relationship with Israel. He kept relationships from being formed, alliances from being formed with Iran, with all of these other actors. I mean, he brought peace to the Middle East through strength. We weren't looking at all of this crap when Trump was running the country, were we? But now all of a sudden, they see a weak, feeble leader in office, an administration who making the dumbest mistakes ever. And now what's happening? Somebody said, can you please ask him for me? Don, seriously, please. What's the question? Yes, you can ask. If it's a question for me, sure. I'm going to try to read and make sure I catch it. But my point is, this stuff right here, all of these countries just recently have formed an alliance. Yeah, that's right. Pick the fight with Russia. Blame it on Russia just randomly waking up one day. So now we're going into Ukraine unprovoked, even though we got NATO wanting to spread globalism across the country, or the globe rather, and we don't want that. And now they're sniffing around with bringing in Ukraine. So now we're going to go ahead and go to war. And then from that, China sees a opportunity. Not just see an opportunity because Russia got a lot of oil and they hate America and they, all that stuff. They're not about globalism, but they also see an opportunity because of the weakness in the U.S. They see an opportunity because they said, now wait, what did Creepy Sleepy do in Afghanistan? Did he defend them? Huh? Somebody said, why only an hour? Well, because I wanted to develop a show that was consistent. You can count on it every single day at the same time. And then this way, you don't have to just sit back waiting for a notification. You kind of know when to expect me. And so I didn't want to overdose y'all with more than an hour a day. So I just said, you know what? Let me do an hour a day, Monday through Friday. And that won't hurt the people too much when it comes down to overdosing them. And then in between, I'll slide in some standalone uploads. That was my initial plan. But I do find it tough to constrict all of this rich information into an hour. That's why I'm trying to keep it together. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this in a minute. And then we're going to go ahead and wrap it up and come right back tomorrow. So now, what I was just saying. So you got China who are seeing multiple opportunities. They see a weak leader. They see Joe Biden not doing anything when it came down to Afghanistan. Then they tried him again by sending that balloon over there. And then they said, yeah, it doesn't matter if, they all know we were responsible for that lab leak. Let's see what they're going to do about it. Oh, nothing? So the guy who got a $1.5 billion deal from China is in office. This is a great opportunity for us to partner up with Russia because they got our values. Now, China's not globalist. They're globalist as far as China running everything, but they're not going to join, Schwab and all of them. They don't want no parts of that. So they are looking at countries that are looking at how stupid the West is right now, pushing this global agenda. And they say, y'all don't want to be a part of it either? Come on over here. Let me talk to y'all. Oh, they don't want to buy your oil? We'll buy it. Oh, they think the American dollar is the strongest dollar. You know what? We could destroy that dollar if we just form a partnership. That's what we can do. So now we watched that partnership get formed right before our eyes. And now we in trouble.
Yeah. And the trouble with this new world order is who's in the middle. You know, we know who's on the one side, the bad guys. I've just identified them. We know who the good guys are, the United States, hopefully our European allies, hopefully our Asian allies. But in this new world order, how are the Europeans going to deal with, for example, trade with China? Are they going to be willing to divest in China, not invest in China, not let China invest in Europe or Germany? Is Germany not going to sell its cars to China? Will our supposed allies be with us in this new world order, or will they find an excuse to sit on the fence?
And who's in the middle?
That scares me. And that is why we don't hear a lot about the Western countries when it comes down to the book of Revelations. We don't really know what England and France and all of them are going to be doing, and America. We don't know. See, we done went ahead and put ourselves in a pickle, and also put the European allies in a pickle as well, because we done talked them into not relying on Russia for some of their resources and all of that stuff, relying on energy and all of that mess from the sun, and ain't even ready. Not ready for any of that stuff. So the smart countries said, well, heck, since they're trying to box me out, how about I just form relationships with some other countries that's smart enough to know that, hey, I'm not getting rid of my fossil fuels. Okay. Hey, they don't want to buy our fossil fuels. So what? I sell it to you guys. They don't like our values. They want us to come in and push gender studies and all of that mess. We don't want that. Oh, we don't want it either. Cool. How about we all partner up? How about we all start sharing our money and put the pressure on the American dollar, and then force them to have to figure out what they're going to do over there in Europe? Destroy their own economy when China, all of these countries have become so reliant on China. So reliant on China. Yeah, you might be able to go ahead and kind of push Russia, hold them off for a little bit. But now you got China and Russia. If those two countries decide we're partnering up and we're not going to support Israel, you think these Western countries over in Europe is going to have the gonads or the economic freedom to be able to say, okay, well, then we're not going to buy nothing from China. We're not going to sell to China. We're going to go ahead and back Israel as we see our dollar crash, our economy crash, all of that mess. They will figure out a way to somehow still buy from China, still support China, and might even start saying maybe it's Israel's fault. Maybe they should just go ahead and give up some of their land and all of that stuff. And we know what that leads to. So we are in a very peculiar time, y'all. Woo-wee. This right here is a pickle. And I got more stuff I want to drop on y'all, but I'm going to save those nuggets for tomorrow. I've been reading some of you very, very kind comments, and I appreciate all of it. And you know what? I honestly will say this. I do, when it comes down to speaking, and doing my show, y'all know I don't write nothing down. I just find some clips that I think are important and I just start talking about them. But when I have to talk about certain subjects that are really, really intense and have biblical proportions, I do thank God for a revelation on some of this stuff. See, I always look at this stuff twofold. There are some things I talk about that benefits us as humanity, benefits us as just American citizens. But then there are some things that switch over and overlap into biblical stuff, spiritual stuff. And when I have to do that, I thank God for allowing me to have some decent discernment when it comes down to that. I don't profess to be a super saint, like I always say, but I do thank God for being able to see some writing on the wall and have enough wisdom to say, that's a storm coming. Y'all don't see that? Y'all don't see that storm? Okay. I can't just sit there and let you just get caught out in a storm. I'm gonna let you know that this right here could turn into something real bad real quick. So we'll see what happens. I'm not finished with this subject. I'll be back tomorrow talking about this, breaking some more of this down, because we got some more stuff to talk about as our dumb Democrats put us in even a more interesting, peculiar situation. Now, please, if you have not, go ahead, text MAGA to this number, 330-974-4607. Text MAGA to that. And don't forget, also, my fundraiser. And since I was talking about, some spiritual parts, I'm going to raise an offering. There's room at the altar. Is there room? Will you come? Reach in your pockets and give. Please dig deep down in your pockets. Now, honestly, if you can't support my channel through supporting this fundraiser, please do. We got 3 days left, y'all. 3 days left. And so you can go ahead and support that through the link that's right below this video. It's right at the top in the About section. Also, I uploaded some shorts from some of our shows. And I'm also about to upload a new standalone video that isn't from our live streams that you're going to want to watch. But you will get that notification. If you don't get it from YouTube, you'll get it from me when I upload it, to make sure that you get it. But to get it, you got to go ahead and make sure you become a part of Kevin's Corner. So, with no further ado, make sure you like, share my videos, follow me on other platforms, check out the podcast that these are all converted into, and we will see you guys tomorrow to finish up what we didn't finish today. Hopefully the world will still be here. Dang on it. Never know what creepy sleepy on the wheels of steel. Is this a cliff? I'm going to drive straight off of it. Up north, got it round your throats. I know you see the goons. I know you see the apes. I know you see the way we tear up the place. Yeah. See y'all tomorrow. Kevin's Corner. Take care.